If you want to sign up athletes into your online coaching program, then you need to show proof that you can help athletes get results. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to run a testimonial with one of your athletes so that way you can use those to show people that you can help athletes get results. If this is your first time here, my name is Nick Neville. I run an online consulting company called Just Coach, where we help sports coaches achieve time and financial freedom by implementing the online mentorship model so they can train more athletes, make more money, and create a life of way more freedom. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Got a banger for you, okay? So this is actually inspired from a group call that I did with our clients inside of our coaching program, Remote Training University. And the client was asking, I have an athlete who I helped get a bunch of results, right? He's a former Division I football coach, helped an athlete get a really good scholarship. How do I run a testimonial, right? And so there was like some technical aspects of this specific situation that I'm not really going to dive into inside of this video. But the main thing that I wanted him to take away was that it's important to tell the proper narrative with your video. At the end of the day, people don't necessarily care so much about the claims that you make in a testimonial video. They care about the overall story that you're telling and how that athlete is communicating about you, or potentially their parents are communicating about working with you. Okay? So with that being said, we want the testimonial video to look like a timeline. Hopefully you could see this beautiful green line on my whiteboard, okay? We want the testimonial to look like a timeline. This is the structure that you're going to use, okay? So at the beginning of the video, we want to have a quick introduction. And if you want a live example of what something like this looks like, you can just check out the 60 plus testimonials that I have here on this YouTube channel, because I followed this very similar structure myself, okay? So the first thing is an introduction, okay? Inside that introduction, what you want to do is obviously open up the video. I have my own introduction that I use every single time. I recommend the same thing for you. And then you want to allow the athlete to introduce themselves, tell who they are, where they're from, how old they are. If you coach multiple sports, you shouldn't be if you watch a lot of my content, but if you coach multiple sports, what sport they play or what position they play or anything like that. Anything that is noteworthy, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the viewer to identify with the person on the testimonial. Every single coaching program sale has 3 sales that go into it. The first one is that they need to be sold that the mechanism or the program itself is actually their answer. For most people, it's selling the athlete that online coaching is the solution to their problems and is going to get them to their desired outcome, whatever that is. Okay, the second sale that needs to be made is that the individual who is, let's say, watching the testimonial in this instance can get the outcome too. Because a lot of people have limiting beliefs over what's possible for them. Just like, for example, you might be watching this right now thinking, oh my goodness, $30,000 a month or $50,000 a month coaching athletes online. I'm not sure if I could do that, right? So it is my job and a lot of my content to help you break those beliefs, okay? So that's the second thing. The third thing is that they need to be sold that you specifically are the one to help them with this online coaching program to achieve whatever it is desired outcome that they want, but they need to be sold on you specifically, okay? So if we know that the athlete needs to be sold that they can do it, we want the athlete or the parent to identify with whoever the introduction is, okay? After that, we're gonna go before joining the program, okay? Now, it's very important that we map out the entire journey here, and you'll see how I'm just basically gonna walk through step by step the entire client journey, their wins, challenges, things like that, okay? But in this before section, I'm actually gonna start writing here on the board. In this before section, it's very important that they lay out their full situation, okay? We need to know their entire situation. Where were they at before they joined your program? Let's say you're a pitching coach. How hard were they throwing? Were they working with a coach before? How much were they training? Lay out everything that it is, like have them do it, right? And you ask them these questions to figure out what was their situation before they joined into your program. The reason why we're going to do that, obviously, is because we're going to talk about goals, or I'm sorry, the outcomes at the end. Okay, after we figure out where they were at before joining your program, ask them why. So, I'll give you an example. Hey, Johnny, obviously before you jumped into my program, you were throwing 80 miles an hour, and then you saw my stuff on social media. What caused you to want to reach out and join the program? That one question is going to be so incredibly powerful, not only for you, for feedback to continue to make more content that attracts that type of person, right? But on the flip side of that, somebody who's on the other side maybe is in a very similar situation and about to come to the same conclusion. And you want them to say it. Because I can sit here all day long and tell you how great my program is and how much I can help you, but until you hear it from somebody else who looks just like you, you probably have skepticism around the possibilities of the outcome for you. Okay? So, why did you join the program? Okay? Then, first, I'm going to shorten that. First impressions. Okay? What was the first impression of the program when you first got on board? This is going to allow the client to talk about, yeah, I was skeptical, I was worried, because that's what most people are going to do whenever they buy something high ticket online. They're going to be skeptical, they're going to be worried, they're not sure, especially if it's their first time buying something, right? They're not 100% sure if they made the right choice. So if they're on a testimonial video, then most likely they had a good experience, right? What was your first impression? Were you a little bit skeptical? Were you a little bit nervous? They're going to say, yeah, absolutely. I was skeptical. I've never done an online program. I didn't know how it worked. But then I got in the program and you hooked me up and it was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. Okay? We want to know the first impression, okay? Then, what did we do? I'm just going to put what. What did we actually do together? Okay? What did we actually do together to get you the result that we are going to talk about in the next step? I'm actually ruining the next step. What did we tactically do? Okay, we built you out a custom program. We worked on, let's say you're a pitching coach, we worked on your throw. We analyzed it. We got on a couple calls. We talked about your emotions, how you can be more present. And that was a huge game changer for you, right? That is the narrative, as you can see, that we're trying to tell. Let's review really quick. Who were you? Where were you at before you joined the program? Why did you join? What was the first impression? What did we do inside the program to, next step, get the result? Okay? Because that is why anybody buys your program. If there's one thing that you take away from any of my content, the only reason why somebody is going to buy your program is because they desire a specific result or outcome that they think is going to make them feel a specific way. Okay? And if we can tap into that human psychology and market the results and market the outcomes, the potential dream that these people could get, you will make way more sales than if you don't do that. Okay? Nobody wants to buy your time. Nobody wants to just hang out with you on Zoom, most likely, unless you have a huge personal brand and people develop a parasocial relationship. That's a story for an entirely other time. Okay? The reason why people are going to buy from a stranger with an online coaching program is they want a result. The only reason anybody joins any of my coaching programs, which you can check out the link in the description if you want to check that out, is because they want a specific result. They most of the time don't really care who I am. They don't care about my team. They don't care about anything. They just want to see what we can do for them. Rightfully so. We're random strangers, okay? So once we talk about the result, then this is arguably the most important part. Objections. I can't even believe I'm giving this to y'all for free here on YouTube. Then objections. So the more calls that you take with online coaching athletes, you are going to get a slew of objections, right? Skepticism, too much money, not the right time, don't have time for this, my parents aren't supportive, my son's not committed, you're going to get a slew of objections. So the end of the call is where you can have that athlete and their parent, if they're on the call, overcome all of these objections for you. Because like I mentioned earlier in this specific section earlier on in the video, whenever you watch my stuff, you in the back of your mind are thinking, this guy is trying to sell me something. I'm not sure if I 100% trust him. And if you don't, that's amazing. Thank you so much, because I'm trying to help you so much through these videos, okay? But for most people, they're going to be a little bit skeptical because I am biased towards my program. I built it. They're the results that I get. Just like if you're an online sports coach right now and you're actually getting results with your athletes, you don't understand why somebody's not going to buy your program because you know where your heart is at, right? That is why we need the client to overcome all the objections that you get. Now, as time goes on, you're going to get a bunch of different objections. Just figure out what the most common ones are and ask those at the end of the call. So a lot of people say they don't have time to do this program. How was it? And how much time would you say that it actually takes? Oh yeah, it doesn't take nearly as much time as I thought. I thought the exact same way, but then you helped me build out a schedule. Boom, that overcomes an objection. That could win you a couple deals, okay? So this is the entire structure to run a testimonial video. Now, what you should be doing is you should be taking this call on Zoom or in person and recording it with the athlete and ideally with the parent as well, especially if you sell to high schoolers, right? So obviously, this is step-by-step structure that we teach inside of our coaching program, Remote Training University. If you want to check out more about our program, you can check out the link in the description. If you just want to continue to watch these videos for free on YouTube, that's 100% cool with me too. I make these videos to deliver as much value to you guys as possible for free. So anyway, hopefully you guys got a ton of value out of this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.